Greetings and salutations, this is Huge Ass. And this will be a little different to most videos I do. Like most, I want people to get on. Life is always better when people just get on. We get enough drama in our lives from random events without adding to it unnecessarily. As a project manager of over 30 years experience, I know how to put a team together and how to get them to work together to meet our goals as efficiently and effectively as possible. I also know that sometimes people just don't get on. There's often no real reason, although sometimes there is. It's happened to me personally once, and I've seen it happen numerous times. It will often ultimately just come down to chemistry between individuals. How those individuals respond determines the type of outcome that they eventually get. The adult response to such situations, in the workplace anyway, is that whatever problems that individuals have with each other is for them to sort out, like adults should. It only becomes a problem for me as the manager if it affects their work and therefore the success of the project. As adults, people should be able to keep their emotions in check to enable them to continue to be effective. This is a good analogy for wider society. A society is where individuals work together to achieve things that wouldn't be possible otherwise. This doesn't have to be a conscious collaboration. It could simply mean everyone follows the same set of rules because that's what makes it work. Take traffic laws, for example. If people ignore the traffic laws, we'd have chaos and carnage on our roads. But because everyone, for the most part, willingly takes part in the collective activity of driving under the same rules, it is much, much less of a problem than it would otherwise be. And the benefit of working together in this way is that almost all of us get to where we're going in a reasonable time. So it's give and take. Now, life isn't as simple as that in general, of course. And not everyone is good at being an adult. It's one of the wisdoms that comes with age. That's why high school dramas are so intense. You have hormonal, emotional teenagers fighting with each other for their place in their little society. And that's a recipe for drama. But as people get more experience as adults, they realise that what they do when they're younger might have worked somewhat then, but it now has consequences that it didn't have before. Largely because the people you engage with as adults tend to have more power to respond. And hence, in that scenario, acting like a teenager instead of an adult is largely counterproductive. Those in their 20s and 30s learn new ways of getting what they want that don't involve messy conflict such as influence, persuasion, exchange of services, mutual benefit, making a case, and so on. And those who use this approach instead grow in popularity depending on how good they get at these skills, and that popularity makes getting what they want even easier. As debunkers, we understand how counterproductive reasoning based on emotion is. We encounter that in flirts all the time, whether it be paranoia, fear, incredulity, or just plain nastiness. None of that has a place in any rational thought. And as debunkers, we know the difference between us and the flirts is that we are instantly skeptical of any claim, no matter how credible it might be at first glance. Indeed, we know through experience that most claims aren't what they first seem. We certainly wouldn't react to anything emotionally, and we would never form an opinion until we had some idea that we had all the relevant facts available to us. The corollary of that would be never form an opinion with just one side of the story. And even if we do get to the point where we can form an opinion with some intellectual integrity, we're open to new information should it arise, even if it changes our opinion. I mention all of this as way of preamble to the meat of this video. In the past few weeks or so, I've become aware of a situation that has arisen among the debunkers on YouTube. I don't want to mention any names. In fact, I don't want to even refer to that particular situation directly, although I might refer to it obliquely, but only as an example. And I don't want to refer to it directly because I don't have all the facts. I don't think I even have one side of the story. So I haven't yet formed my opinion on that particular situation, as no one without all the relevant facts should. I do know that some pretty unacceptable things have been said, and there has been some pretty unacceptable behaviour, even from people not directly involved, which amazes me. And to form an opinion on whether or not that behaviour is unacceptable, I do have enough information. Wherever you have people, there will be disagreements. Indeed, disagreement is what drives people who debunk to create videos in the first place. And with the internet, people from all over the world can get together and interact, when in the past they probably wouldn't have even known that each other existed. And that's a wonderful thing. and its importance has been highlighted by this pandemic, with more people staying indoors and getting on YouTube. But it does bring more people together, and hence there is going to be conflict at some point. It's not that it does occur that's the problem. It's how you respond to it that matters. And our credibility as a group of debunkers does depend somewhat on how we as a group respond to conflicts. So I want to get a conversation going among fellow debunkers and their audiences, because I don't believe the principles I'm about to mention have been discussed among us. And I realise this might just be my opinion based on my values. You might disagree, both on how we respond to unacceptable behaviour and what constitutes unacceptable behaviour in the first place. That's all part of the discussion. If we don't talk about it, then we are just accepting that bad situations will arise. And I think if people apply the same standards that work in society in general to their online lives, we're all going to be better off. I therefore propose that we, the debunkers of YouTube, declare that unacceptable behaviour has no place among us, and we'll declare it through the adoption of the following principles, or something like them. Number 1, personal issues between people or groups of people have no place in our videos. Just as in the workplace or anywhere else in human society, personal issues should be resolved privately. Those issues are not the business of anyone else other than the people involved. Similarly, those not directly involved in the personal issue should never make a video about it. That's just beyond the pale. Number 2, people with personal issues with others should always behave professionally towards those others in public. The issue is your business, not everyone else's. Keep it in DMs and emails, not on public forums or in videos. Number 3, we as debunkers do not condone bullying of any form in any circumstance. All debunkers should feel safe from bullying in their interactions with other debunkers. There's just no place for bullying. That requires us to be mindful of our behaviour in 2 ways. Be diplomatic so that your behaviour is unlikely to be interpreted as bullying. And the other way is to have a thick skin. Not everything is bullying. Number 4, engage in all your interactions with integrity. Treat others as you would have them treat you. Do not spread falseness, and don't engage in deceitful practices, which includes talking negatively about someone behind their back, or even doing so publicly. Number 5, always engage others with kindness in your heart. If you do that, the first 4 should be easy, and you'll have more productive interactions, even ones that involve conflict. So there's 5 principles for us to discuss. I'm sure there's more we should have, and please let me know about them in the comments below. But if people agree to just these 5, we go a long way to making our interactions a better place to be. If you want, please mirror this on your channel so that more people have the opportunity to be part of the discussion. I look forward to your comments below. I think the goal of the discussion is to eventually come up with a debunker's declaration, which we can all declare and publish in our videos, much like the FBI Fair Use Declaration. It will be one way of showing that we are against unacceptable behaviour and defines what makes behaviour unacceptable to us. And if we all make such a declaration and stick to it, I can only see that making our corner of the internet a better place for all.
You're just